are not from the Norla area, so if you're going to name roads, you might want to go with something like Uri Drive.
This team is going to be buying popcorn after the end of the game, and they will be carrying the state championship trophy home. Book it. This team is going to be on Canal Street.
Oh, I would love that. Welcome back, one and all, to the Norla Football Weekend High School Podcast Roundup. We are back after a nice little hiatus last year, but don't worry, we're all healthy and ready to go. We've got a great lineup of guests this year, all ready to roll, and our first guest is a returner from a couple of years ago, Twitter personality and Norla consultant Top Rat. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to, hate us or love us, we do want to give you what you want as far as a show, and we're excited to be covering this area's high school sports.
Now, Rat, the elephant in the room is that we did not have a show last year. We did not cover games last year. We weren't very active on social media last year, and I think we just have to quickly address it for our audience because a lot of them are surprised that we're even back for this season. We did not shut down. If anything, we're a bigger company than we were before. But there was just, with the COVID-19 restrictions in place last year, and honestly, it wouldn't be very responsible for us to get together and record a podcast until everybody is vaccinated and ready to go. But we feel like we're in a better place this year.
Right. Topic to think about is the effects of everything that's been happening. And last year was just too much on the table to pass, and we had to we didn't want to. It's tough.
There really shouldn't have even been a football season last year, if we're honest. It's already a violent sport, and you have so much collision going on with a deadly virus like this. It just wasn't. We felt like we'd be sending the wrong message if we covered this.
It's a reflection on the company. Hey, but I do want to provide the footage. I have some special footage for this week on the show. We're going to be showing Rayville hosting Bastrop in 2007. This is footage that I own, and I'm providing it to Norla at no cost to use in the background of our show. So
Rayville Bastrop, huh? Okay. What year is that?
2007, I believe. I'm going to be doing this this is going to be the new format, and while we talk, you can enjoy a good high school Norla featured game at no cost to you or Norla, being that I'm providing it as just a service.
I'm very interested. I'm a little skeptical on how you got that footage. I highly doubt that you were at Rayville Bastrop 2007, but I really have no way to cross-reference that, so I guess I just have to believe that it's your footage and hope that everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, you just kind of have to sometimes, but love it or hate us, we were in a hiatus last year, and we're back now, and we're really excited. Guys, this is our primary job, and it's a. Yeah, exactly. Adding on what you said, it was a huge company last year, but it's a larger company this year, and we just have a lot on our plates. But this week was just too much to pass up.
Yeah, I mean we've got so like you said, apparently we've got Rayville Bastrop for the viewer. We've got Penn State, Wisconsin on in the background as we record. So let's get right into it. With our game of the week, this week it was the Mangum Dragons, a 2A school, heading right up the highway to the Oak Grove Tigers, a 1A school. And boy, was it a good one. Now, we didn't go. We were very excited about going. But then for some reason, our track and field consultant at Norla decided he was going to go. And then he waited, and then we ended up not being able to make it on time, and
that was a big factor in the decision to not go. But
it has nothing to do with COVID this year because we feel very safe now.
Ultimately, it was the right move at this point.
But long story short, Mangum upsets Oak Grove 27-23, and just looking at that score, it's probably safe to assume that Mangum jumps out to an early lead there, probably 7 to 10 point lead. Well, 27. It seems like they probably just missed an extra point. Extra point
the 23 kind of screams. 23 is one of them numbers that it's either 3 touchdowns and 1 miss on the extra point and then a field goal.
Yeah,
that's possible. Mm-hmm. Another thing is 3 touchdowns, 3 successful PATs, and a safety. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about for in that score when they see that score. So that it was very possible that Oak Grove stifled the Mangum defense once. But you look at this matchup, Mangum to Oak Grove. Mangum likely had a 45-minute to hour and a half drive to get there.
Probably. That's probably 45 is probably on a pretty good guess. Hour and a half's a little long.
Yeah, it's a.
The parishes actually border each other.
Yeah, that is. I love those border battle matchups. What I'd like to see is sometimes they meet in the middle, kind of like on the line, the parish line.
They played like at Delhi.
I wish we had our graphic up, but you can only imagine if both teams met in the middle of the parish, like not the parish, but the parish line. That would be something.
A neutral location.
Neutral site
what
location.
What if there was no school in the middle? Should they do like a Field of Dreams situation? Commission somebody to cut out this section of your soybean field.
Take an airport strip, crop dusters. That would be. There's a lot of land out there that's uncut.
It's just got to be flat. You could put some bleachers out there.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah, it would. I suspect there was probably a turnover, probably an interception somewhere late in the third quarter that really turned this game around.
I think there had to have been.
Oak Grove just doesn't lose.
Something fishy must have happened. I'm really curious who. I'd like to. You can only speculate on these things when you get the score, but 27-23, something big must have went wrong for Oak Grove, or something even bigger must have went right for Mangum.
Let's not discount Mangum. They're a good football team. They've been a solid program for a while.
Yeah, it's easy to love the Dragons.
Oh yeah, and we'll be following them moving forward. Mangum hosts Sterlington next week, an even tougher test than Oak Grove, some would say, and then Oak Grove turns around and hosts Washita Christian. So OCS going to the Grove, Mangum hosting Sterlington. Both of those are potential game of the weeks next week. So even though we couldn't make the trip this week, look for us to make up for it to one of these schools.
Keep your eyes peeled and your ears uncovered for our announcement, which will be later on in the week for the 9-11 game the 9-10 game of the week.
Yeah,
the game on 9. Most games on 9-10 and maybe probably a few on 9-8 or 9-9.
The 9/11 weekend. It's always a good weekend for sports and for
barbecue.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just
it's like a second Labor Day, really. Now Mangum, a slight upset. I don't know if we mentioned Oak Grove was a 2.5 point favorite. A lot of people thought that line was too low.
Yeah,
we kind of feel validated since it was an upset. There were actually 12 upsets this week. Some bigger than others, obviously. We don't have really time to run through all 12 of those because there's just too many. But we would like to talk about a couple of games here and there. Rat, you had a game you wanted to mention.
Rayville Gina. You look at what happened here. Gina was supposed to host Rayville. Gina's a 3A school. And they were going to host Rayville as a 19.5 point favorite. The student section, the band, the cheer squad, the pep squad, the faculty, the staff, the administration, the parents, the in-laws, the neighbors of the parents, all the stores and the schools in Gina. I mean, the police, every government official, they were pumped about this game. And something happened. They didn't end up playing.
Thank you for, in many eloquent words, telling us that game did not happen. So really there's no need to give any more thought into that, especially a game hosted by a non-Norla school. I'm not really sure why you brought that up.
And plus, no one really knows why that game wasn't played, so there's really nothing that we can say about it.
Well, to be honest, the score was entered on LHSAA as 2-0 to Gina, which a 2-0 is the default for a forfeit. So we're really just assuming it was a forfeit. It could have been a 2-0 win.
Yeah, they could have been, a safety fest where one safety happened.
It could have been. Oh, here's a good one I wanted to talk about. Jonesborough Hodge at Winfield. That's a classic rivalry, and Jay Hodge has had the upper hand for years, but Winfield came out on top of this one, 22-20.
Two teams in that middle of the Norla area that no one really. There's some people there, but it's not on I-20, and it's kind of on 167. But 167 is mostly a Ruston road, and so those area teams are steadily kind of grappling for bragging rights and victories.
Absolutely. Looking on down as we get into some of the bigger matchups, scrolling through 3A here. Carroll, a team that Rat was real big on a couple of years ago, came in as a 6.5-point underdog at Green Oaks and Shreveport, and Carroll actually runs away with this one 45-0.
Clearly, Carroll knew something that we didn't know, and the public, because the public was all over Green Oaks in this game. Carroll picked them up, shut them down, and sent them away.
Another classic matchup, Union Parish at Manny. Manny, a non-Norlaw school, but they're almost by this point, they're almost an honorary Norlaw school. We like the Manny Tigers, but
they represent, everything you want in a Norlaw school. Smaller, good heart, competitive, and a good coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Union, a 3.5-point favorite, they cover and win 42-32. Manny's got turf now, just like Oak Grove. Don't really understand why some of the smaller schools are doing that. I like the natural grass feel, but I guess it's you don't have to pay the guy to mow the grass anymore. The head coach doesn't have to go out and mow the grass, stencil in the numbers. So, although I don't like it, I understand it. It's a Thursday night matchup that kind of caught my eye. Benton went to Northwood. Northwood a slight favorite, and the over/under all the way up at 58.5. This one was a low-scoring game, and Benton, in their second season in 5A, actually came out on top 12-7. Wassman, as we mentioned on the Twitter account earlier, a huge upset over Bastrop. Wassman was a 19.5-point underdog. They actually won by 2 points. And then a big one, an alternate, kind of our honorary game of the week that wasn't the game of the week, was Ruston at Neville. These two teams have played every season for, I want to say, 90 years, something like that. It's been going on a long
it's
time.
Either 90 or 100 or maybe even more. It's in their blood. These teams are they're groomed.
The result
to hate each other.
The result doesn't even matter.
Their fathers played against each other,
and their grandfathers,
and their uncles.
You've got coaches' kids on the sidelines.
Right? Some of these guys hold these grudges until they're in their 40s or 50s because of something that happened on. In some JV game somewhere in 1984 when Ruston played Neville out at Neville, and then it just stays. It's in their blood, and this rivalry goes deeper than anything we can talk about. There's nothing to even say about it.
There's nothing. We shouldn't really even. If we try to talk about this game, we're really just dishonoring those two great programs. So we're not even going to say the score. We're not going to mention the score in that one. Now Ouachita Parish, they went to Airline as a slight underdog, and they won that one 20-3. Red River, a tiny little 2A school, went up to Powerhouse Halton as a 23.5-point underdog, and they only lost by 6, 55-49. Rat, what's going on in Halton?
Yeah, Halton. Well, I think it has more to do with Red River. Being in Coshada, it's a steady in and out of people. It's a great location, great property. I love all the dealers and the staff of Coshada, and I love the tribal factor and how it's right there. And I think it has a lot to do with it provides good jobs, and Red River just feeds off that. Being right there in Coshada. I think it has more to do with Red River and than anything Halton did wrong. It's just Red River is that Coshada factor is really overflowing into the student body, and it's just a great property and great resort.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye out on the Bulldogs of Red River this year. They could be better than we thought.
Located in Coshada.
OCS beats Southwood 40-0. West Monroe edges out Sam Houston 53-0. And finally, West Ouachita under new coach Rainwater They beat Delhi Charter. Excuse me. They beat Delhi Charter, our own Norla Gators, 34-0 at home at the Woe. That kind of wraps up all the games we wanted to talk about this week. Decent lines this week. 15 favorites covered, 15 dogs covered. It was difficult for our odds making team this week as we didn't have much to go off of. There really wasn't a season last year.
Favorites straight up went 18-12. So
18-12 straight up by the favorites. Lots of close lines on some of those upsets. So not a bad week numbers wise for the Norlaw.
Yep.
What games are you looking forward to next week, Rat?
I'm ready to see Oxford. I imagine Lane Kiffin could be there.
Well, it's Oxford High School, it's not Ole Miss.
Okay.
Close enough, though. They'll be playing. Oxford will be coming to Shreveport to play Ruston. We won't get too much into the geographics.
Yeah,
of that
makes very little sense.
It's disappointing, honestly, but that's okay. Washita Neville, classic rivalry.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Airline goes to Union. Not often you see a 5A school headed into Farmerville. Farmerville is kind of the Cleveland of the Norlaw, but we love it.
Union is going to be the Auburn Lake's going to be drained for that game. They're going to be.
I think Union should be a favorite.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the lines makers say, but mark it now. Highway 15 is going to be shut down for that game. That game is you ain't going to be able to get to it. It's going to be so many people there.
You've got another 5A school, West Washita, traveling to one of the more rural areas, heading to Jonesborough Hodge as well.
Another team right there in the central part of the Norlaw, in that 167 area, kind of like Winfield is. But I look. Those are two teams that are in the Norlaw that are, fighting for position.
Absolutely, and of course we've got Sterlington at Mangum. We've got St. Frederick at Cedar Creek. And we've got OCS at Oak Grove. All those should be fun matchups as well. Well, Rat, before we wrap it up, you got any closing thoughts for us?
No, it's just great to be back on the radio or on the air, and we love our followers, and
absolutely,
and it's you, and you're buying all the ads. We got a lot of advertisers, and they can tell whenever our users see those ads that their products being bought. Or services being used, and it's just we owe it all to you. So at some point I'd like to write some of the followers a check if we could. If not, and we're still growing, so we may not can do that.
Yeah, but I don't know the ethics behind all of that. Well, we got meat on the grill. We got the fourth quarter of Wisconsin Penn State, so we're gonna adios ourselves right out of here, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you, Norla.